What if the big problem that you're trying to solve in your business isn't actually the real problem in your business? And all that time, energy, and effort that you're going to try and solve that big problem is actually just draining your business. And so now you're falling further behind because you're not solving the real problem. So recently this happened. I was in a meeting and there was a lady who was sure that if she could just rent some more space for her business, she could just get some warehouse space, all her problems would be solved. And we started to explore that and talk about it. And it came to light pretty fast that the warehouse, it wasn't really the problem. That lack of space wasn't the problem, and it wasn't going to be the solution. Maybe you've had a situation like that too, where you're like, oh man, if I could just solve this by doing this one thing, it's going to fix so many areas of my business. But then if people really dig in and push on it, maybe it turns out that's not really the problem. So in this particular case, their root problem wasn't needing more space. It was actually that they didn't have their operations set up correctly. So even if they had a bigger space, it would have actually made the problem bigger, and then they'd have had huge issues instead of the small issues that they're currently dealing with. And this kind of issue, it's not just a one-off problem. Like that lady wasn't the only one that just magically had this issue. This happens over and over. I've seen people and they'll be like, oh, I just got to hire this one person and then it'll solve so many things. And then they hire that person and it doesn't solve anything. I've been there myself. Or maybe you're spending money out doing ads because you're like, oh, we don't have enough customers. Or another one, maybe you're like, oh, we're going to launch this new service because my current customers aren't excited about my current service. But none of those are the actual problem. So what's going on here? Well, oftentimes you're too close. The problem's right there in your face and you can't see around it or past it, or you can't really figure out what's really going on because that problem's staring you right in the eyes. Sometimes when that problem's right in our face, we're so emotionally attached that we can't really make good judgment calls. Or another situation is there's this feeling of urgency. We're like, oh, we have to take action today to get this solved. So there's a few different reasons why we can get caught up in this. But oftentimes when we are caught up in it, it causes more problems than benefit. So if you've got all that noise in your head, what are some steps you can take to reduce the noise, find the root problem, and get it solved? Here's a few steps you can actually take to move from solving the wrong problem to solving the right problem. So step one is pause that loop of reaction. If you're feeling like you have a problem and immediately you feel like the need to take action and do something and we'll have to solve it right now, you just pause, just stop. Take a few minutes and say, I'm going to set that problem aside and I'm going to come back to it in a little bit and we're going to analyze it when I'm calm. So that's step one. And then once you're calm, you can ask yourself questions like, okay, what is it I'm truly trying to solve here? What's the root problem? If I take the action I think I'm going to take, what's the result going to be? And will that result actually solve the true problem that I have? Or is it just going to solve off to the side, but not really cure the root issue? All right, solution number two is to get the problem out of your head. So you can use a whiteboard. You can go and talk through it with someone else. You can maybe use a napkin, but just start writing it out. Write down all the factors around it. Write down the situation, write down what caused it, write down why you're focusing on it. All those things, just start writing them out. And then write out a bunch of potential solutions on there as well, and a bunch of ideas, and a bunch of just anything that comes to your mind until you get your mind cleared out and there's nothing left. Just write it all out. That gets it outside of your brain. And then instead of you rolling over and over and over inside your brain, you're looking at something physical and you're analyzing what's there instead of what's in here. And then the third solution is, before you just go and full on implement that, test it out. Say, okay, we're going to pretend that we've solved that problem in this way. And maybe if you're thinking you need to run some different ads, you go and test the ads a little bit. Or you go and you say, okay, if we think we're going to have this extra space, how would we utilize that space? And then implement a little bit of that currently to see if that truly solves that issue for you. Think about this for a moment. How much money have you spent solving the wrong problems in your business already? Hey, if this hit home for you, I'd love it if you'd subscribe and maybe share it for someone else. And remember, sometimes the hardest part of leadership is realizing that we've been fighting the wrong battles. And when you finally see clearly, it's not just the business that changes, it's you.